What is up, guys? Tyler here with Secureteam. How you guys been? Took a day off yesterday to deal with some personal things, but now we are back. And just like I told you guys 8 days ago, if you remember, we actually reported. We were one of the first channels, first news outlets, period, to report about this proposed or allegedly discovered planet around our closest neighboring star, Proxima Centauri. And if you remember, at that time, an insider had leaked information to a German news outlet to the effect that they had discovered an alien planet that was identical, nearly identical to Earth, and that this was going to be a really big discovery, possibly the discovery of the century. So we posted a video on that 8 days ago, and within the last 24 hours, the web has exploded after it was officially made public that yes, this new planet has been found, and that this exoplanet is being hailed as one of the biggest discoveries of our lifetimes and of the century. So, the scientists of the ESO, or European Southern Observatory, today confirmed that they have discovered Earth's cousin, which is an exoplanet orbiting our closest neighboring star, Proxima Centauri, and it is also inside of the Goldilocks zone, which makes it a potential candidate for life. And they believe that it could possibly have liquid water on the surface. This is groundbreaking to know that just a few years ago, because as you all probably know, science changes, and what we know about things changes about every 7 to 10 years. So what you may think you know now, you're going to find out in about 7 to 10 years that it's wrong. Whether it be what you know about science, what scientists know about science, about space, it's constantly changing, it's constantly evolving. And it wasn't too long ago that scientists held no hope of finding another Earth, let alone another alien planet, anywhere near our solar system or anywhere in our galaxy possibly. So then we started finding these Earth-like exoplanets and other planets. And then we started to notice that more of these Earth-like alien planets were being discovered closer and closer to our own. And it's just 4 light years away. Now, of course, 4 light years is an extremely large distance, but in the scheme of things, it is much closer to the other exoplanets that we found that are 1,300 to 20,000 light years away. I mean, this is a star system that hopefully in the near future we will develop a sort of warp speed technology, and we already are developing a warp speed, something that will allow us to send a probe out that will be able to traverse distances at a percentage of or very close to the speed of light. So the rumors are true. The evidence is clear, this planet is real, and it is orbiting the closest star that we have to our own. That's amazing news, first and foremost. And if it is inhabited, I mean, you guys can just think of the possibilities. For all we know, this other Earth could be looking down at us with people or entities on it who had just discovered Earth and are saying the same things that we're saying about them now. Now here is an artist rendition that you're seeing of what the surface of this planet possibly looks like. And by the way, they've named this planet Proxima b. And because it is relatively so close to us, we now have the possibility of visiting it. And missions are already in the works, at least public missions, to visit this planet. There was an initiative announced earlier this year that will be aiming to send a super fast miniature probe to Proxima Centauri, which will take about 20 years. That's it, 20 years to reach this star system. And now that we know that this planet is in the habitable zone, I guarantee you we will be having probes being sent out there. One of the only questions about the logistics of getting a probe there, one of which was discussed in a recent Popular Science article, is the threat of space dust, which could destroy any chances that we have of getting a probe to the planet. Now, it may not seem like a big deal. Space dust seems harmless. Well, space dust is very different than dust here on Earth. And as the article correctly stated, when you are sending a tiny circuit board 25 trillion miles through the universe, moving at 1/5 the speed of light, the tiniest speck of dust can destroy it completely. And they have researched this, and they have found that indeed a single grain of dust only 1/100th of a millimeter big, would completely destroy any probe or machine or craft that we have sent to this planet. And at the rate and distance it would be traveling, nearly 30% of the probe would be eaten away by dust before it even got there. So what are they doing to combat this? They're proposing a graphite shield that will hopefully be able to deflect this space dust. So very, very interesting times. You can check out more information about this planet, the more technical details about it. I mean, it's all over the web. A great discovery of our lifetimes. Now, on to some new UFO footage, some very eerie footage, and I'm trying to figure out what this thing is. Maybe you guys can help me out. This was captured on a Cleveland, Ohio webcam of a craft of some sort that has been captured sitting high above the city, moving forwards and backwards at times, but mainly is just sitting there. And the footage you're seeing here was captured and uploaded to the Orlando Bosca YouTube page, so I'll put the link to that down in the video description. And as you're seeing here, what is this thing that's sitting up here? You're actually seeing a time lapse. So this thing, at times you'll see blinking lights on it, but these blinking lights only happen about once every couple of minutes. They are not flashing on and off like you would see on a conventional airplane or aircraft or helicopter. And during this, you can actually see other actual airplanes and helicopters moving past this object, which looks extremely large. So whatever this object is, it may be a lot closer to the camera over the river here than it is directly over the city. And at times, you see this object moving forward slightly, whereas at the end of the video, the object begins moving backwards to the point where it leaves the frame. So again, let me know what you guys, I don't know what this thing is, but it's strange that it's sitting there for such a long period of time. It can obviously move up, down, left, and right, so that would rule out this being a plane. It does not look like a helicopter. It's extremely large compared to the other airplanes and helicopters in the distance. And yeah, great capture, so let me know what you guys think. Now, on to something that I actually would have featured in a video yesterday, because I was going to put up a video yesterday, but yesterday was the anniversary of the UFO sighting that happened to John Lennon. Now, I'm sure you all know John Lennon, and I'm not talking about the John Lennon who was the president before Lincoln. I'm talking about the Beatle, John Lennon, from the legendary British band. And so, he had, believe it or not, if you don't know this, his own witness of a very mysterious sighting, a very mysterious craft, back in August 23rd of 1974. And what happened was, and it's very eerie, it's eerie to even talk about this sighting, Lennon was working on an album, music album, and him and his girlfriend at the time had moved into a penthouse apartment in New York City. And that's where both of them had seen this UFO from the terrace of their apartment. And so apparently this happened. John was out on the terrace overlooking the east side of New York City when he noticed a large circular object coming toward him that was in the shape of a flattened cone. And on the top was a large, brilliant red light. And this is quoting from May Peng, who was John Lennon's girlfriend and personal secretary at the time. And this is quoted from Mrs. Peng's book. She said that it was, quote, shaped like a flattened cone, and on top was a large, brilliant red light. When it came a little closer, we could make out a row or circle of white lights that ran around the entire rim of the craft. Now, what you're seeing here is actually some artwork that was done by Mr. Lennon featuring the UFO. And so when John first witnessed the object, it literally frightened him. That's when she said she walked out and this large object caught her eye, circular in nature, coming toward them. And again, they said it had a brilliant red light on the top, but it was not pulsating like any other regular aircraft. She said that when it came a little closer, we could make out a row or circle of white lights around the rim of the craft, and that the entire sighting was dazzling. She also said the object was about the size of a Lear jet, and that it was so close that if we had something to throw at it, we probably could have hit it quite easily. So you've been seeing some drawings of this object, And John Lennon actually called the police. And the police told them to keep calm and that others had seen it too. And one of the last things she remembers that John was saying in his excitement was that, quote, "I can't believe it, I can't believe it, I have seen a flying saucer." And we have identified another similar sighting that happened within that general time span a little bit earlier that directly correlates, we believe, and that is the sighting wherein which the same craft was spotted. This time in 1966. The John Lennon UFO was in 1974. But we were able to dig up another UFO encounter that occurred on April 6th, 1966 in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, and it has become known as the Westall UFO, where at about 11 p.m. and for about 20 minutes, more than 200 students and teachers at 2 Victorian state schools witnessed an unexplained flying object that descended into a nearby open field. According to reports, the object then ascended in a northwesterly direction over the suburb of Clayton, South Victoria, Australia. And oddly enough, the sources of that sighting gave a description of the exact same object that was witnessed in New York by Mr. Lennon. And you are seeing a drawing of those objects here. Once again, flattened cone-shaped objects with bright red lights on the end. The witnesses in the Westall case, again, nearly 200 of them, witnessed the object descending over the high school before disappearing from sight as it descended behind a strand of trees and into a field. Shortly after, about 20 minutes, they said that the object then climbed back up at a very high rate of speed and departed towards the northwest. They said that the object gained altitude and that it was also being pursued from the scene by 5 unidentified aircraft which were circling the object. And so you look at these 2 images. The first is of the drawing that John Lennon did of the objects he saw. The other image is a drawing of what these students saw. And these objects are nearly identical. Here is an image taken from the Westall event showing this UFO that was witnessed by over 200 people. So again, yesterday, the 23rd, would have been the anniversary of this happening. It's a very interesting case. I highly suggest you check it out, as well as the Westall UFO sighting, mass sighting of the exact same type of object witnessed in New York. Now, on to some other UFO sightings and some interesting things we found on Mars. So here's an alert for anyone living in Darlington, England. These lights that you're seeing here, and this is a screen grab from a video that was submitted to MUFON, and the video is literally only 4 seconds long, and it only gets a split-second shot out of a car window of these lights, so we're just going to give you this still image from the video. I promise you, you will see nothing different. So a viewer was driving by as he was passing this large open field, saw this massive group of lights in Darlington. The source said he was traveling east along A66, 8 miles from the Scotch Corner, and witnessed these stationary lights sitting in the sky. At first, he thought it was a squadron of helicopters with lights on. However, he said after a few miles, they had not moved at all, and he managed to take a photograph and a very short video, and basically said that it wasn't a great day for visibility, but obviously, we have a perfect screenshot of these objects, so anybody over Darlington, England, see these things, or get some video, please shoot me an email. Now, lastly, I want to show you some new images taken from Mars. If you don't know yet, just the other day, over 1,000 new images were released by the space agencies of Mars, never before seen images. And we have discovered what looks like a set of possible artificial structures, almost which look kind of like landing strips, hidden under the surface of Mars that are kind of sticking out through the rock. Now, you have heard the expression, nature doesn't build in straight lines. Well, of course, if you're talking about very small things, but we're talking about very, very large stretches of land. And you're seeing an image here. This was taken from the Hellas Planitia region of Mars. And there's 3 different sections here featuring the same sort of rectangular enclosure with these eerily straight lines within them that, again, sort of look like an artificial landing strip or installation of some sort, whether it's a landing strip, whether it's a ruin of a civilization, And these 3 different strips are found in the same image, and there's nothing else like it in the entire photograph. They're all virtually the same size. They all feature these straight lines moving through them, these designs, and they all do look artificial. They look artificial like you would see in satellite pictures of the Earth. So we're showing you some close-up images of these. And of course, we will put this link to this down in the video description. You can check it out yourself. But this definitely looks like one of these sort of partially buried artificial structures like we found in Mexico, we found in the Middle East, that have been uncovered, where we essentially dig these things up and find these ancient ruins and artificial structures from cities that used to exist here on Earth. So again, let me know what you guys think. These things, especially the fact that we found 3 of them within the same region, definitely look artificial to me, and they do not blend in with the rest of the surface features here. So again, let me know what you guys think. Great times we are living in. The discovery of this new alien planet found in the Goldilocks zone could be reeling with life right now for all we know. Awesome times to be alive. So send me a shout out if you've seen these lights over Darlington in the UK, and help me out with what this strange UFO is over Cleveland. And we'll talk more about it in our next video. So again, keep sending in your footage. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. I really appreciate it. And yeah, stick around, and I'll see you in just a bit. Stay safe, guys.